Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to The Walk. Today is Tuesday, November 28th, and today we are looking at Isaiah chapter 9, verses 1 through 3. Tomorrow we're going to be looking at Matthew 4, and then Thursday I plan to tie it all together, and then Friday give you just a little bit more. So that's what our plan is. We'll see if the Holy Spirit changes it. If He does, then we go with it because we are relentlessly obedient to the Holy Spirit. Sometimes we get it right and sometimes we don't, but my intention is always to get it right. So in Isaiah 9, starting in verses 1 through 3, it says, and the subtitle here is, "For to us a child is born, but there will be no gloom for her who was in anguish. In the former time, he brought into contempt the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali. But in the latter time, he has made glorious the way of the sea, the land beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the nations. The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who have dwelt in a land of deep darkness, on them light has shone. You have multiplied the nation. You have increased its joy. They rejoice before you, as with joy at the harvest, as they are glad when they divide the spoil." So the key thing to take away here is, yes, they went through this dark, dark moment. They went through that shadow of death that we talked about yesterday. And then what happened? They have seen a great light. On them, light has shone. The nation was multiplied. Their joy was increased. They're rejoicing before the Lord with joy at the harvest. And they're glad when they divide the spoils. So in both Psalm 23 and this passage, it's very clear that that time of darkness is not just a tough time that's negative and has no benefits. Because out of that, you come into this beautiful place where the Lord's light is shining on you. Through that, you have grown in your relationship with Christ. And you have come into this great amount of growth spiritually. So as we examine this word for darkness, now this word is koshek, I think I'm saying that right. And in Strong's, what it means is the darkness, misery, destruction, death, ignorance, sorrow, and wickedness. Dark night or obscurity. There's a few things that jump out at me when I look at that definition. First of all, it surprises me that ignorance is in there. Ignorance is a very negative thing in God's eyes. We need to make sure that we are not going through life ignorant of what the enemy is trying to do, ignorant of what the Holy Spirit is telling us to do. We need to keep our eyes wide open and be ready for that guidance and instruction. Also, what's jumping out at me is obscurity. Things are hidden when you're in the darkness. When you're in that dark place, and I think about those dark times in my own life, you don't always see that the growth is happening. It's just a miserable place. But then you come through it and you see that, you know what, when you look back on it, you did grow. It was good for your relationship with Christ. It did deepen your faith and exercise that faith muscle so it can get stronger and stronger. You did get better at relying on the Lord. Now, as we look at the Brown Driver Briggs expanded definition, it means darkness, secret places. Now, that one made me pause because we call the prayer closet our secret place. But this kind of secret place is where things are hidden. And you're trying not to examine those things that are hidden. But when we examine them and we go through that dark time, we get that spiritual growth. It's a time of distress, figurative of blindness, dread, terror, symbolic of judgment, mourning, perplexity, and confusion. You don't know which way to go. Ignorance, evil, sin, obscurity. So when we think about this passage, we've got to be aware of the fact that we don't see everything. We don't understand everything, but we know who does. And because of that, we put our faith and trust in Jesus Christ, and we come through that darkness into this beautiful promised land where we've grown in our relationship with Christ, and we're tougher than we were before. We've got a stronger faith muscle than we had before. So if you're in that dark place, know that that light is there. That light has never left, and you're going to come through it deeper in your relationship with Christ. Have a wonderful day. God bless, and keep walking the walk.